YouTube is none. Somebody says support always, correct privately, not publicly. Okay. Somebody is answering my question. Thank you so much. So I'm asking a question. When it comes to supporting your spouse, do you support your spouse always? Do you support them only when they are right? Or do you support them? Well, it depends. If they are right, I will support them. If they are wrong, I will not support them. What's your take on it? Because there's a common saying that you have to always be on the same page as your spouse. So particular. One person has responded. Only one person has responded. Thank you, Toby, for liking. Thank you so much. So, what do you think? I've only got reaction from one person. Do you support your? Somebody said. Fumi said it depends on where you are. I like that. So, is it always support your spouse, whether or not they are wrong? Only support them when they are right, or it depends. Somebody said support always, correct privately, not publicly. Somebody said it depends. It depends on where they are. And this is what, thank you, Dewi's Creation, for coming on board. Please, people, this is an interactive show that I cannot do on my own. If it only gets interesting when I can hear from you. So when everybody is quiet, it's going to be boring. So we don't want it to be boring. Always say something. Let me hear you. If you can hear me on TikTok, on Instagram, or on YouTube, you can communicate with me. You can text or write or send an invite. I mean, send a request to be invited into the live show, and I will respond to you. So I've had just two people responding and saying, somebody said you have to always support your spouse, whether or not they are wrong. Somebody said support them when they whether they are wrong or right, but you correct them privately, not publicly. Okay. And then somebody said it depends on where they are. It depends, So I'm still waiting to hear from more people, you know. Okay. So when we support a spouse that is wrong, all in the name of we have to always support. What do you think? What kind of impression are we creating? Somebody said if it is wrong, then problem. Somebody said if it's wrong, then there's problem. Thank you, Chief Mrs. Mommy. If the person is wrong and is obviously and clearly wrong, and you are trying to even probably call their attention to what they are doing wrong, or you're saying, or probably it's something that you have warned them about before. Bikini, don't do it, so it's going to get in trouble. Mashekini, mashe. And they still end up doing it, and then they get in trouble. Are you supposed to still continue to support them and say, you know what, because we are couples, I will support you? Or we let them know straight away, you know let me hear from you guys. It's quiet. I know it's a difficult question, and some people probably will not want to answer because I don't want to, I don't want my spouse to think with a loss, you will not support me and stuff like that. But this is an opportunity for us to have a conversation. Let's discuss about these things so that we will know. Because here, as I always say to us every week, I come here to learn. When I come to this show, I come with my pen and paper because I want to come and learn. So there are some things that we do, we just do it. We didn't even think about it. But when you hear from other people, then you begin to understand that this is not supposed to be like that. And please, if you're a couple on this show tonight, I don't want you to take your spouse's response out of context, because sometimes people take some responses out of context. Let's allow your spouse to give a let them talk from their place of understanding, and maybe by the end of the show tonight they will have learned that no, it's not supposed to be like that. Thank you for me. She said we can as well keep quiet depending on the gathering, if it happened in an event. Okay, thank you so much. I love that. So it says it depends on the gathering. We can as well keep quiet depending on the gathering. If you people are talking on Instagram, I can't see you, except if everybody's gone quiet. I hope this thing is not happening again tonight. I can't see you. If you're talking on Instagram, I can't see you. So if you're on Instagram and you're talking, I can't see you. You have to come to TikTok. Then uh, somebody said, then we discuss it when we get home. Okay. Somebody said, I would rather discuss it when you get home. Like somebody rightly said, Chopper said, um, correct you can correct, you support in public and then you correct when you get home privately. That's what somebody said. Hey, Mama Banke, thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. God bless you. So, for those who are just joining us now, welcome on the show. This is your show, your beautiful show. ETO IGBEYAWO. Let's talk traditional weddings and more with Bumimi Royals. Tonight, we're talking about spousal support. I'm asking a question. Would you support your spouse whether or not they are right, whether or not they are, dishonest, disrespectful, unreasonable, or sinful? Would you always support your spouse, or you believe that if they are wrong, you let them know, this one is not right, don't do, I'm not going to support you. Now, we're not only talking about public. Somebody said you can support them in public and then go and correct them inside. Hey, I don't want to go into the deep part of this conversation yet. Please, TikTokers, remember that you can send me a request to join the show. Thank you for joining, Moremi. Thank you, Bookilicious. Thank you. Welcome on board. God bless you. Thank you, Uncle Foley, for joining us. Thank you so much, everybody. Now, let's go into the deeper part of this conversation. Somebody said you support in public and then correct inside. Mama Banke said, I am on both. Maybe people are not talking here. Okay, thank you. I can see you now. Sometimes people are quiet. I just want to be sure because for a few times we've lost conversation on Instagram. I just wanted to be sure that. Okay, now let's ask this question again. Is loyalty standing by your spouse no matter what, or guiding them back when they go astray? No. Loyalty, when we're talking about, some people believe that loyalty is you standing by your spouse no matter what. I'm trying to accept this. So no matter what, stand by your spouse. No matter what, stand by your spouse. And then even when they are going astray, is that loyalty? When you say no matter what, it doesn't matter. It's your husband, it's your wife. You're supposed to stand by them. Even when they are going astray, even when they are doing silly stuff or they are doing stuff that can be an issue. Welcome on board, Mama Banker. You can please unmute yourself anytime to talk to me. Instagram, hello, talk to me. Evening. God bless you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Auntie. Thank you. It's good to see you again. God bless you, ma. Yes. God bless you, ma. Yeah, please join the conversation, ma.
Well, I think it just depends on our maturity. It's like where sometimes you just disagree on something and you have to explain yourself. I don't believe in waiting. Now we don't need to fight. We just explain to you, try and explain to the person what you think the person should do, because sometimes it's not that people are wrong. It's just maybe what they've done in those circumstances are not the best. It's not the best thing to do because he probably had a reason why he did what he did, but maybe I just don't agree with him. So it's not a case of he's wrong. It's just I don't agree with him, or maybe he could have done it another way. And we have to deal with things with maturity sometimes. Sometimes you don't say the person is wrong. You just tell them, oh, maybe if you had done it another way, as opposed to the way you did it, would be a better way of dealing with that situation. Because we have to try and avoid conflict as much as possible. So
thank you, ma'am. That's another way to look at it. Sometimes we are not in support of what that person did, but we're not telling them they are wrong. We're just telling them, maybe you shouldn't have done it that way. That's a different way to look at it. But how about if the person is actually wrong?
Well, it's still to me, it's still the same. It's like you can still explain to the person why you think maybe they could have done it another way, or why, and give reasons why you think it was wrong.
Okay.
Because sometimes when somebody is insisting that they're right, even if they're wrong, then you have to give examples or whatever. And sometimes you can steer men into thinking they are right, even when they are wrong.
Okay.
Then a way you can deal with them in such a way is that you change the situation around, but then allow them to think that they were the ones that made the decision, even though they didn't. That's another way of dealing with things sometimes. But sometimes when you try and get them to see the thing and you just leave it, and then eventually you start moving the situation around, but you allow them to think it is them.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I really appreciate that. That's coming from Mama Banke. I think here, I would look at what you have just said. Correct me if I'm wrong. As well, this person is wrong, but we don't have to make them feel that they are wrong. We have to be diplomatic in the way we say things.
Yes.
Now, that's a good way to go about things. But does that mean you're supporting them? You're against what they're doing? If you're saying, okay, I'm not against what you're doing, even though it is wrong, and I'm not saying you're wrong, do you think
I will be against what you are doing, but then I have to now, if you know the correct way, you now have to correct it.
Okay.
And to avoid fighting, to avoid disagreements, to avoid conflict, then you correct it in wisdom. No fighting, but you just make suggestions to the person.
Okay.
Of a better way of doing it, as opposed to the way they want to
do it. Thank you, ma'am. I'm coming back to what you have just said. But before I do, let me just read comments for people on Instagram so they know I can see them, because I haven't been seeing them for some time. I'm glad they're talking tonight and I can see them. You know, Talk Security says you call their attention when going astray, definitely. Because I was asking that when people are saying I don't want to make it look like I'm against them, but what about when they're going astray? Somebody said you call their attention when they're going astray. And then Dewey's Creation says somebody by name Ananias in the Bible did it and it didn't end well. Google Ananias and Sapphira in the Bible. Okay, because look, I am somebody's saying on TikTok, she said sometimes you have to call a spade a spade. You have to disagree to agree. I understand what you're saying, that sometimes the way we say things, it matters, even if you're trying to correct somebody. But it all depends on what we are talking about. It all depends on what we are talking about. So if it's something that is serious and you are trying to be like, I don't really want him to feel bad. I don't want them to look like I'm antagonizing them or I'm attacking them or something. Like somebody rightly said, it depends on what, and it depends on the situation. Thank you so much for coming on board, Chef Mrs. Mommy. God bless you. I have a friend called Chief Mrs. That's why I keep calling you Chief Mrs. So God bless you. Thank you for coming. Please let's hear your opinion, ma'am. Let's hear your opinion. Yes, ma'am. I love it. I love it.
But for me, I think with marriages, foundation, if the foundation is strong, the approach will be different as well. If you marry somebody that was only about I'm saying. So tó bá ti mọ̀ pé ọkọ tó fẹ́ kò ṣe ọkùnrin tí wọ́n lè bá wí tó ń bá wí nínú ilé má bá wí níta. Ó ṣe yìí sí. Tó bá jọ ọkọ tí èèyàn bá wí níta ni yóò ní láti sọ̀rọ̀ the same way léèyàn ń ṣojú fún àwọn ọmọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Èèyàn máa kọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ èso pé bẹ́ẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Because later on he doesn't want to look stupid. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. And he doesn't want to spoil his own reputation níbi tó wà náà. You know. Tó bá jẹ́ pé dọ́lẹ̀ lójú ni o ti already mẹ́pẹ́ tó jọ rẹ̀ lójú ni máa protect fi sílẹ̀ kó ṣàgbára ẹ̀ níbi tó wà. Kó ṣó true colour ẹ̀. Away from there so you don't get more angry. Oh wow. I love that. Wow. Sometimes we just need to be careful. It's not the correction that is the problem. It's the person you want to correct that you need to go even your reject. God bless you. Wrong person, goodbye. The right person, to correct it, don't pick what you to be tell you to the correct it, buy it, try it next time. Can you correct it another time? Fix it, man will correct it. Correct it. And just accept what it is and find your peace in it. Thank you so much, ma'am. This is why I say on this show,
It depends on the kind of person. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹni tí kò kí ń gbọ́ kì í gbà, tó jẹ́ pé correcting the person will even cause more trouble. Sometimes ẹ mọ̀ pé wàá wà alright. Nígbà tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀, ó máa já ẹ lójú, you know. You probably have to just be looking at the person, stay clear, as in stay neutral, you know. But my own question now is, if the situation that the person is doing, whatever that person is doing, is something that can affect both of you, or if you don't step in, it's going to be an issue. You know, Yoruba bọ̀ wọ́n ní tó bá bójú, ó máa bá mú. You know, what about if it's a situation like that? Bukirisha said very true, man. You can even collect the person and collect woto woto. There are some people like that. Well, Bobawi. In fact, Elomi, I prefer key neutral person bá òun kó correct òun ju key spouse òun kó correct òun lọ. Some people are like that. Once it is the spouse, they'll just open eyes like this and start saying, who the hell are you to be telling me what to do? Don't tell me what to do, and blah 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 blah. But tó bá jẹ́ Elomi ló bá wọn sọ, wọ́n máa gbọ́. But my own question now is, we're saying that stay neutral. Má dá sí, tó bá ti jẹ́ kó máa cause wàhálà. Tó bá jẹ́ ẹni tó ṣe é bá wí, like she said, I love the word teachable. Some people are teachable. Ẹlòmíì ò lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, ẹlòmíì ò dẹ̀ gbọ́ bá wí olódodo. Kò gbọ́ bá wí anybody. Ẹlòmíì ò lólù bá wí for real. But tó bá jẹ́ pé nǹkan tẹ́ni yẹn ń ṣe, nǹkan tó lè affect the family. If they are dipping their hand in some things that can affect the family, how do you go about it? Èèyàn lè máa wò, wọ́n ní èèyàn lè lajú ẹlẹ́kítà lùbọ́ kò wọ̀.
Okay, tó bá máa affect the family, because sometimes me my conversation will be like, tó bá máa kàn mí, tó bá máa kàn ẹ́, ló tèmi mọ́ títí ẹ̀. Think about me in the process. And vice versa. Tó bá jẹ́ kan tó máa kàn mí, tó dẹ̀ máa kàn ẹ́, wàá calculate risk náà. Táìpọ̀ máa fọ ẹ létí náà ni. So kó tó máa sọ mẹ́ẹ̀, kó lè fẹ́ kó jẹ fọ́ tí ẹ, or at least you're protected. I don't know, you know. For me, that's what I would have done anyway.
Mo like àǹtí Ọlọ́run. Mo like àǹtí.
We have to be a bit mature though. Why we? I wouldn't want to think where we are going to go down the road of Kamalura. You know, èmi àtọkọ mi ò kí ń jà. You know, èmi ò ẹ tó bá lù mí kò ní gáàsì ẹ̀ ti pọ̀ kó tó gbọ́ wẹ̀sùn. Ìgbà tí òun náà bàbá mi ò lù mí, ìyá mi ò dẹ̀ lù mí. Tó fẹ́ gbọ́ wẹ̀sùn láti lù mí, ẹni yẹn máa ó kó mọ̀ pé kò tòun náà ti dé. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not something that I'm accepted. You know, or something that is happening. That's why I'm using those words. This is why, even in marriage, we have to learn how to deal with conflict and how to deal with disagreements. Not you when we have if you're talking to somebody who fẹ́ gbọ́rọ̀, or you're talking to somebody that have a wisdom of understanding your point of view. Your wisdom of understanding your point of view. So jẹ́ pé nínú ọkọ̀ tí yàn fẹ́ sí mi lé jẹ́ pé tó bá sọ̀rọ̀, gbogbo tó bá sọ, they're hearing something else.
Eyín etí ẹ̀ ló ń bọ́ sí. Àbí kó máa gbòdì létí ẹ̀.
So tó bá jẹ́
Mama Banker, you know that we have all different kinds of, we have different, there's some people like that, and it can be very daunting and difficult, because there's a common saying in Yoruba that toba ba oju o ma bamu. Sometimes when you want to correct these people and they're not listening, and it's not only just men, there are women that are very stubborn. They have stubborn head. What do I say? If you want to correct them, you're going to get in trouble for correcting them. But when you don't correct them as well, you get into more trouble. So I understand where Chef Miss is coming from. We have to let people know these things. At least in your mind, you know that you have said your own.
Yeah, and I think that is why they say we learn, we mature, we get to understand different things as we grow older and older. Like most of us, when we get married, we learn as we go along, as we get older, and as we deal with those sort of situations.
Now let's look at because this thing that we're talking about, I think most of us are focusing on behavior that somebody is just doing, maybe in the temporary, maybe you're outside in a party or you're somewhere and your spouse is doing something that is not, that doesn't look good or stuff like that. Now, don't forget that we're talking about when the person is always being, maybe you have someone, a spouse that is not being truthful. For example, on towobo, nǹkan tó kò jẹ́ kó towobo bí a níbi iṣẹ́, and you know that it's going to cause trouble, and you're telling them, some people will not bother to tell them, especially if they are enjoying from that particular or benefiting from it. Some spouse will never correct their spouse, or we have spouse that are being unreasonable or sinful. No, let's look at it that way. Àwọn tó lọ ń tọwọ́ bọ, things that could really cause, that some people that actually don't máa fọwọ́ ra spouse wọn lórí, no matter nǹkan tó bá ṣe. Wọn ò tiẹ̀ fẹ́ mọ̀. Ẹ má bá mi báyàwó mi wí, ẹ má bá mi bọ́kọ mi wí, ẹ bá fi nǹkan mi lẹ̀. That kind of thing. And you know that what your wife or your husband is doing is just not good. Ó máa pa èèyàn lára, ó lè pa other people lára, but you keep on indulging them. I'm going to cite an example. There is someone whose spouse is always quick to kind of I'm trying to look the word, implicates people. Tọ́rọ̀ bá ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin wọn àti àwọn èèyàn, ó máa lọ ṣàtakò wọn níbi, ó lè jẹ́ bí iṣẹ́, ó lè jẹ́ bí tí ó máa ti kó bá wọn, something like that. He's always doing it. And when people confront the guy, the woman is always saying, for coming stuff like that. Or someone whose spouse is and you just keep indulging them, you feel because they're for coming, that kind of thing. Or this person is not, it doesn't have, I have a major challenge of someone that does not zip. Àwọn nǹkan tó important kíní jẹ́ ká ṣì fílẹ̀, má jẹ́ ká tí the person is already out there, So stuff like that, things that could affect the family, that could cause trouble, that could bring the family backward, is what we are talking about here. So how do you go about that? How do you, help in that situation? Yeah.
Even those are the type of things we talk about at home. Those are not the type of things we will talk about outside.
No, we're not really necessarily saying outside. The word outside came because somebody said, because somebody mentioned it. It doesn't really have to be outside. The major thing here is, what do you do when your spouse is going wrong? What do you do when your spouse is going wrong? Whether outside or not outside. What do you do when your spouse is doing the wrong thing?
It depends on how Kenny that you can't deal with it. Sometimes you have to call somebody.
Sorry, ma. Chef Mrs. said, hold on, ma. Yes, ma. Mama Banker, yes.
You have to call somebody else. Because sometimes it's like there are things that like maybe you tell his friend, or you tell his brother or an uncle, because it's not everything, no. Ọlọ́kùnrin lè deal pẹ̀lú wá jẹ́ pé inú obìnrin náà ti ń gbọ́. Nǹkan míì wà tó jẹ́ pé ọkùnrin sọ́kùnrin náà lè deal pẹ̀lú. Even though you as an obìnrin, you can see the problem, but you have to find another ọkùnrin or an àgbàlagbà to buy sorrow.
Okay, that's one way to go about it. Chef Mrs., you were going to say something, ma.
Because of the affect you will be so for pay or buy you down to be ilé ìgbọ̀ngàn ti ní ṣòro. Because mo ṣe sẹ́yìn nìkan ní ṣòro. Because gbogbo decision tó bá máa make náà, decision tó máa pa yín lára náà ni. So obìnrin yẹn láti make sure pé ó tẹ pamọ́ sí owó títí ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́. Ìtọ́jà tó bá ní pé wọ́n máa ṣubú wọn níjọ ṣubú pọ̀.
Thank you.
The reason I'm giving my opinion is because this is public knowledge. And there's a lot of things going on in marriages. I'm an hairdresser and I hear both sides all the time. And because I hear both sides all the time, my view will never be anybody's view because God will quite see me.
Oh, could you sell me?
Me. But me no to quite see you. God to sell me and not be and it's about like the situation. if you're depending on that man, then you're depending for your own downfall. You should be able to watch the need that you saw tó bá rí báyìí
tó bá jájọ́ ẹ lójú
sáà mi lélẹ̀ má sọ pé kí ni àbúrò mi sọ pé tí ó bá parí kọ́ọ̀sì ẹ̀ tán ó máa kọ̀ mí náà ni mo lè sọ fún ìyàwó pé bẹ́tà kò lè kọ́ọ̀sì because ó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí. tó bá fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀ ẹ́ tó bá parí kọ́ọ̀sì ẹ̀ o ò lè ṣe nǹkan kan láti jẹ́ kí láìpẹ́ ẹ̀ wá ìdí à ń sìn jẹ́ tó bá pa owó o deserve láti gbowó yẹn. I'm just giving you example please our table. So mo sọ fún ìyàwó pé jókòó pé eléyìí kò fẹ́ kó sórí ilé ìyàwó mi ni. Pẹ̀lú inú ẹ̀ síbẹ̀ kó ti bẹ̀ bọ́ọ̀tẹ̀ ló fẹ́ for now lójú ọkọ ìyàwó mi kó rí tiẹ̀ lé pé because ó lọ bóun nìkan ṣe but ìyàwó ló ń jìyà nínú ẹ̀ so sometimes you have to take a stance and let them know okay ẹni yóò ṣe ta lè gbọ́kàn lè because gbogbo decision yìí ó sì máa já síbi kan because ó lè máa wà lókùn títí kí nǹkan máa kójú ẹ̀ máa jà ń jọkàn.
Má jà.
Kó bá gẹ̀ẹ́tì ilé ìwà tó ṣe nínú náà bá gẹ̀ẹ́tì ìwé pẹ̀lú so tóbìnrin bá wà ní situation yìí kó tapá kó fúnjà mọ́ iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ ẹ̀ tó bá jábọ́ kò ní jábọ́ pẹ̀lú wọn lọ́wọ́.
Eshema, thank you so much, ma'am. I really appreciate those contributions. Now, I wanted to find out from Wikilicious, you can unmute yourself. You know, the reason I'm emphasizing on this is, you know, because a lot of people, we are, like you said, and you look me, your spouse is misbehaving, and you're saying because you don't want to you know, one of the things that I really wanted to talk about tonight is the implications. Family. What can it cause the family if you continue to indulge your spouse? You don't tell them, you don't correct them, you're worried about, I don't want them to look at me like I'm arguing with my husband, or I don't want them to look at me like I'm not a respectful wife, or I'm not a nagging husband, or something like that. And you continue to say, you know what? What are the implications? What could go wrong? Because this is the thing that we have to look at. What's there to lose? You know, that's one thing that we need to pay attention to. I've accepted you, Auntie. Why is he not letting you say now?
Ìgbéyàwó lè bàjẹ́. Tó bá dojú ẹ̀ tán. Ìyẹn tó bá jẹ́ pé wọn ò gbà fúnra wọn, ó bá jẹ́ pé wọn ò fẹ́ gbọ́rọ̀ síra wọn lẹ́nu. Wọn ò gbọ́rọ̀ sí wọn. Ṣé kan míì tí ó máa ń fẹ́ da ìgbéyàwó ẹ máa wò pé kíní kékeré yìí. Nǹkan tó kéré lójú tiẹ̀, ó lè pọ̀ lójú ẹlòmíì. Nǹkan tí ò tó nǹkan. Or because of lack of understanding, nǹkan tí ò tó nǹkan á di nǹkan ńlá mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́. Á di a very serious situation. So
yeah. So because sometimes a lot of people tend to not look at the bigger picture. Okay, mi ò fẹ́ ṣe ọkọ mi, mi fẹ́ kó bẹ́ni pé mi ò support òun, òun á fọwọ́ ra lórí. He's doing silly stuff. Hello, ma. Everybody. Ma. God bless you. Thank you for coming on the show, ma.
My own take on this topic is charity ara ali ẹni bá jẹ kòkòrò nídùn. Àbí báwo ni Yorùbá ṣe máa sọ? Ṣé Yorùbá sọ fún kókẹ́rẹ́ kò ní jẹ́ kéèyàn sùn lóru? Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí dẹ̀ dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ arọ tó lọ lògùn ìyàgbẹ́ ni. Ọrùn ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ méjì ló dá sí o. Because if we have someone we call our partner, tá a bá lè bára wa sọ̀rọ̀, just like Chef Mrs. Mommy said, if the foundation be faulty, what can the righteous do? Kò ságbàlagbà ilé, kò sí ọ̀nkú ilé, kò sábúrò ọkọ, àbẹ́gbọ́n ìyàwó tẹ̀lé lọ fẹjọ́ sùn, tó máa bá wí. Because ìwọ tó fẹ́ tẹ̀ ń dáyà dera yín, ó yẹ kó gbọ́rọ̀ sí lẹ́nu.
Ó gbọ́rọ̀ sí ẹlẹ́nu bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Ìwọ gbọ́gbọ́ ni first family.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Tí ò bá ti gbọ́, kí ló fún ẹ l'assurance pé o máa gbọ́ ní ẹnu ẹlòmíì? Tó bá bá sọ lóhùn ti gbọ́. Ṣùgbọ́n ni.
They said two people are talking.
Àbí ó gbà.
Do
you get?
Okay. Yeah.
So, one should be able to talk to your partner. One be ọ̀gbẹ́ni. Even though she
àbí one be arábìnrin.
It's not going to affect the whole family. You understand? Kójú òun nìkan ló máa affect. But ṣé tó bá dé bá ojú,
ṣé kò ní dé bá mú ni.
Because tí omi bá ń jábọ́ nínú ojú máa kọjá lára mú adẹnugan pàápàá ìgúnmú gan á jáde.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
So if you're telling your wife don't do this, tó continue láti máa ṣe tí ò gbọ́ràn tó wà òkè. Bíbélì ní ẹni tó bá tabábáwí tó bá wà òkè. Ìparun ní irú oko ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́nà. Ó ń roko ìparun ni. Because at the end of the day, tó o bá kó bá ara ilé ẹ̀.
Wà kó bá ara ẹ̀.
Tó kó bá wọn mọ́, wà kó bá ara ẹ̀ kó sọ́gbọ́n ẹ̀. Example of partner tó ń hùwà bàjẹ́ téèyàn yín indulge ọmọ yín ò ṣàgbàfọ̀.
Ó ń kaṣọ wálé, ẹ rójú olè ẹ̀ mú.
Àtúntò ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní pariwo. Àwọn tó súnmọ́ ẹ, your friends, his friends, your family, his family would know that arákùnrin yìí ó ti máa ń sọ fún tipẹ́tipẹ́ tó bá délẹ̀ tán. If you stay clear pé wo tó bá fẹ́ máa mú lọ ẹjẹ́ kan máa mú lọ. Wọn ò ní ò ṣe dáadáa. Lóòótọ́ àwọn hypocrite kan ṣe máa wà ní ọ̀rẹ́ àti inú ẹbí tó máa sọ pé notwithstanding ó yẹ kó dúró
tí. Ó yẹ kó protect ẹ. Yeah.
But tó bá jẹ́ ẹni tó jẹ́ pé ẹ máa ń gbàtọ́ ara yín dání, whether you're right or wrong. The kilo language ọkọ mi, mo máa ń wo pros and cons. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ ṣì lè wò ó pé okay. Kò mọ́jú bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ni.
Yeah.
I would always tell my own partner, uncle, àwọn nǹkan báyìí tó ń ṣe. Oríṣiríṣi èèyàn ló ti oríṣiríṣi content creator ló ti ṣe skits. Ẹ̀yin ará ìlú òyìnbó, ẹ̀yin ṣègbà ẹ̀yin ṣàwo, take care of yourself. Tó bá rí anything, my husband has got loads of pairs of shoes. Tó bá wo Russell and Bromley, ó dà pé Russell ti ṣògùn sí tó bá jẹ́ Nàìjíríà náà. Tó bá yẹ̀wò tí mo garùn níbi kọ̀ǹpútà ìpé kí ló wò. Bàtà yóò ti pẹ́ tí mo ti ń ṣọ kó wà on sale. Màá níwáyé tó ṣe jẹ́ tó fẹ́ kí kó wà on sale. You work so hard. Buy it. Ṣé mo because irú ọkùnrin tó jẹ́ wípé tẹ bá sọ á gbọ́. And most times, o máa fẹ́ ṣòwò sílé ò nílé ra nǹkan sọ́run ara ẹ̀. Àwọn tó ń ṣòwò sí nílé, I'm just citing a general example. Àwọn tó wá ṣòwò sí nílé, wọ́n bímọ kẹfà. Ọmọ méjì ni wọ́n ní. Àwọn ọmọ méjì yẹn, you're struggling to look after your children. But àbúrò ẹ̀ tó send owó sí, òun ni landlord ilé tó kọ́. Ilé tó kọ́ sí, you only go there once in a year or sometimes once in 2 years. Or you keep sending money. Ṣé ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ò bá gbọ́, wọ́n yọ owó ẹ̀ wá tọwọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ bá ṣọ. Ìwọ̀n bá change kékeré tí wọ́n bá ní. Just like Chef Mrs. Mommy said, you go and do your own thing. Because ẹni tó bá sọ ní bàbá yìí ló máa ń pè ní lárugún. Wọ́n ní BLLB bó ti lọ ló ti bọ̀.
God forbid, I don't know, Jerry. In fact, I was going to come to you. Took that of my mouth, but I'm going to let Auntie Waliko talk. I'm going to let Auntie Waliko talk before I ask the next question. Tori, gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí. In fact, dynamic mi ló tún dimension mi ló tún bá lọ. Pardon my use of word. It's now going to another dimension, you know. Because what I had in mind when I put this topic up is totally different from what everybody's coming up with. And that's the thing about stuff like this. This is why conversation will lead to one and lead to another. Instagram, I can't hear you. If you're talking, I can't see you. I can't hear you. So if you have anybody there, please come on YouTube. Come on TikTok. I don't know what's going on with Instagram these days. I don't know what that problem is. So please, Auntie Waliko, do you want to say something, ma'am? Yes, ma. Okay, ma. Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. Ben.
Auntie Bukilicious at our mommy Chief Mrs.
Ben.
When a man and a woman,
Ben.
they become one.
Ben.
So kò sọ̀rọ̀ tó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin ọkọ àti ìyàwó. Ó yẹ kó pera wọn jókòó. My parents tó bá ní misunderstanding nínú yàrá. Lọ máa ti bára wọn sọ. Lọ máa pariwo náà máa ṣe. Àkọ́dẹ̀ ara máa wà níbi kí o gbé ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀. What is happening? Ó ti tán. Adẹ́sọ̀kalẹ̀ ní kálukú adẹ́ take faces to the east and to the west. Mo fẹ́ fi tèmi ṣe example. Gbà tèmi àti ọkọ mi, ìyá máa ṣe, a máa rojọ́ fọ́rẹ̀ mú nìyà. àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ tó ń rojọ́ fún yìí ṣé wọ́n á rojọ́ fún wọn rí. wọ́n ní ẹ̀mí pé you live in my house. Yes, tí mo fi marry pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ tá a wà together mi ò ever rojọ́ mi fáwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi pé nǹkan báyìí ni mo bá sùn. àwọn bá ń sọ títí wọn á ní à Yéwándé ìwọ ń kọ́ mi àṣàjọ kìíní ká ṣe ń kọ́ manifest ní wà òkè ṣé mo mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin náà lè máa bú mi tí bá kúrò ń bẹ̀ ẹ̀ búra yín ẹ̀ tún wá bú mi lẹ́yìn mi ẹ̀ máa yín mú sí mi so why should I tell you my own? tó bá sọ tí mo mú àkọ́gbẹ̀ okay o Yorùbá movie ní kéèyàn náà fi ṣàdúrà náà ni wọ́n á pè ń jọkọ̀ mi kò lọ́wọ́ ojú mi fáwọn ọ̀rẹ́ mi àti àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣé táwọn bá ń jà ilé wọn máa ń rojọ́ fún wọn wọ́n fi wá ṣe lẹ́yà ni lọ rojọ́ fún pásítọ̀ ṣé pásítọ̀ wá rojọ́ fún ẹ pásítọ̀ náà ń jà náà gbogbo wọn ló kò sí ọkọ àti ìyàwó tí ò ní misunderstanding tó máa pariwo mọ́ra wọn tó máa búra wọn tó máa ṣe they still come back together àgbẹ̀rù jáde wá ṣe mi ò fi yìn ẹnìkálukú lọ ẹ̀ tó ń lérí tó ń ṣe mo dúró àwọn ọ̀nà tó wá sọ ń sìn pé àṣùmọ̀ pé ex yẹn ni mo jẹ́ for 10 years tí n bá wẹ̀ that means pé God has been with me nígbà yẹn tó sára wá dé ó ní àlè ó jẹ́ ó mọ̀ ó wà lójú bá gùn pé nílò òyìnbó yìí oníkálukú lọ láti 2015 ẹ̀kọ́ ni mò ń ṣe mi ò títí di sí ìyàwó bíi 56 in June mi ò tí bá ọkùnrin mi ṣe nǹkan àṣepọ̀ kí ló tó máa fún mi lọ́wọ́ ni tó ní àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ní pé yé kíní ó dá dúró mo ní wò I never shop ni mo fẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ I cannot fair I never shop again Dangote.
Dangote lẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ ta sí lọ́tẹ̀ yìí that's good.
tí bá máa fi sílẹ̀ báwo pé mo máa mí sí gbogbo kíní yìí. ṣé mi yé yín.
Yes. Yeah.
nígbà yẹn náà ta tún wà tún gẹ nígbà yẹn wàá máa tọ́jú àwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ ọmọ táwa bí tàbíjọ bí òòtẹ́.
Wow, that's the thing.
ọjọ́ ọ̀lẹ́ máa rí ọmọ títí ẹ̀ ọjọ́ ọ̀lẹ́ lọ́mọ títí ẹ̀ ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kí nǹkan ṣẹlẹ̀ ta ló máa tí àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ máa sọ̀rọ̀ àǹdọ̀ ọmọ ẹ̀
àwọn ọmọ títí wọn.
nísìn òun dára tí ó ti dẹni àná sìn tó máa lọ ni wọ́n wá mi pé kíní kan ó lóun wá mi tì mo ní mo block ẹ ni because ìgbà tó ti sọ pé ibi tó bá ọdún ẹni mo ti gbọ́ pé ibi tí èèyàn bá ti sọ pé ó dàárọ̀
èèyàn kì í sọ pé ẹ kalẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ mọ́. I think that's the problem, you know, when including nǹkan tí mo sì fẹ́ fàyọ gan lẹ sọ yẹn when you keep because your aunty ìpòwé kọlẹ̀ nǹkan bukilicious wọ́n ní tí ara lẹni bá ń jẹ kòkòrò whatever pété yóò bá sọ fẹ́ni yẹn wípé hùrùhùn rẹ ò ní jẹ́ ká sùn mo yìí fẹ́ béèrè pé ara alẹ́ ẹni tá a bá sọ fún tí ò bá gbọ́ ńkọ́ sísọ ò tó gbígbọ́.
alọ́dẹ̀ lẹ́sìn yẹn ni alọ́dẹ̀ ní ta ni nígbà tó sọ pé kíní òun ṣọ́ mi kò sí nǹkan kàlòkàlò pẹ̀lú mi. Yes, kò tó mọ̀ mi mo láwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ọkùnrin ọ̀rẹ́ obìnrin but I know my boundary. If I say yes till death do us apart that is it. Believe my word but to work on ó ṣe.
Okay, let's look at Aunty Walikoma kí ni nǹkan tó fà á because let's talk about
nígbà mi àwọn ọkùnrin wá ń gbà mí ẹ wo bẹ́ẹ̀ ń ṣe wọṣọ ń sìn they're fine ẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ lọ pàtí kó tí mo ti fẹ́ wọ́rọ̀ wá nìyẹn wọ́n pè wá ní ìwé pé ká wá pàtí olóòlọ ẹni dẹ̀ wọṣọ mo kà tí gè mo makeup mo gbégélé sórí mo lọ òun wò mí ní makeup yìí ti pẹ̀lú mo ní kò pọ̀ jù jẹ́ kí n fáìn jẹ́ kó máa wò mí.
Oh my God.
èèyàn lọ pàlọ́ òun rẹ̀ ni wàá jó wàá láwọn ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀ ṣeré àwáwọ̀ ilé ìgbé wọṣọ tó dáa wò ṣọ́rọ̀ mi yé yín at that time you feel good. Makeup òyìnbó makeup to look beautiful àbúdẹ̀ láìkẹ́ àwọn àgẹ̀lẹ̀ ifá wá dé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe wà ní
so basically ká ní pé nǹkan tó rí lè ń fà á pé because nǹkan tó mi tọ́ra sọ̀rọ̀ pé kí ló ń fà á tó fi jẹ́ wípé a lè gbọ́ra wa yé because some of these people like you have just said now please anybody can unmute themselves and contribute to this I don't want us to be
me and my husband me and my
but auntie ẹ sọ lẹ́ǹkan yẹn ẹni because one thing again is if you're not talking to your spouse or you're not listening to your spouse you're definitely listening to somebody. Personally, I don't see anything wrong in having a third party if that third party is healthy For instance,
you have to be careful of the third party.
Yeah, if that person, it depends on the, it depends on the third party. Because I remember that we treated this topic some time ago. Where is it possible to completely do without third party in a marriage? So possible.
Sometimes it can be. Yes, you can. Because there was a time, me and my ex then, I trash it. I don't kilo fight. Okay, nǹkan báyìí ni mo fẹ́, nǹkan báyìí ni mi ò like. Èmi náà dẹ̀ sọ tèmi. For a while, kò sí. End of it.
Yeah. Okay, ma. Let me hear from Chef Mrs. Ma'am. Let me hear from. Can you unmute yourself, ma'am? Thank you so much, Auntie Waliko. Please unmute yourself, ma'am. Because the question is, kilo really, I mean, do we have to involve third party always, or can we do completely without third party? So possible.
It depends on who you marry, but we're not super that's a foundation. Once that foundation is wrong, sometimes you might just have to define what the marriage is. The marriage is the foundation that is wrong. Find a way to be happy inside it. Third party or not third party, one day they young, but you need somebody that has wisdom of God.
Thank you, ma.
And you need somebody that can say the truth.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
You understand what I'm saying?
Benny.
It all started from trauma that everybody comes from. And so I want to don't you ever talk about it? Ọkùnrin tó bá wá ní ilé fẹ́ pé ìyá rẹ̀ oníranù ni ní kọ̀ọ̀kan kó ní kò ṣoníranù. Tó bá fẹ́ múra ara máa ní ni because ó ti pẹ́ pé ó fẹ́ lọ ṣe ranù. Nígbà kò ṣe ìyá rẹ̀ ló fẹ́.
Nasty experience. Totini. Yeah, I actually have somebody like that doesn't trust anybody because the mom was very loose.
So there's a lot that is going on. And that trauma, sometimes it takes ẹni tó bá ní wisdom lóbìnrin láti lè solve ẹ̀ fún ọkọ tó bá ní. Ìgbà míì wà ìyàn lè help ẹ̀. Ìgbà míì wà ó bẹ́tà kẹ́ni ẹ sáré jìnnà.
Okay.
Because ẹni yẹn ẹ tó fẹ́ parun wà parun pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. Èmi ò wà ní ẹni kéèyàn divorce àbí kéèyàn mo prefer pé kéèyàn sọ̀rọ̀ kí wọ́n tún ṣe. Ẹlòmíì wà pé o ò lè bá wọn tún ṣe because látòkè délẹ̀ ọ̀tá ló jẹ́ fún ọkọ àti ìyàwó jẹ́ fún ọgbọ́dọ̀ jọ́ta fúnra wọn. So you will always be a stranger in their family because of their whole upbringing. So you marry that kind of person, lè pe pásítọ̀ kó wá bá sọ̀rọ̀, pásítọ̀ ò mọ orísun ìṣòro ẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Gbàdúrà fún kó heal because o bá gbàdúrà fún kò fẹ́ heal. Because the healing starts from knowing that you made mistakes.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
The healing starts from knowing that you are wrong. Tẹ́ bá ń gbàdúrà fún ẹ kàn lè máa gbàdúrà fún ara yín ni. Kọ́nà kan yín láti mọ̀ kọ́nà yín láti mọ̀.
Àmín.
You know? Àmín. Gbogbo eléyìí ó wà complicated.
Very.
Because obìnrin tó bá wà ní situation yẹn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Kó pamọ́ sí ọwọ́ ẹ̀ kó dẹ̀ máa pọn mí lẹ̀. Because ọjọ́ tó bá dá pẹ́rẹ́ nígbà tó máa struggle á ní nǹkan tó lè lọ sábà.
Back up. Ìyẹn gan tún lè di wàhálà nínú family mi pé àjọ
exit plan.
Exit. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, ma'am. I always gbádùn your contribution, to be fair, because I mean you say it as it is. Now I've got a few things here. Tí mo kọ sílẹ̀ ń bí báyìí. We were talking about pé ṣé dandan ni kéèyàn bá third party sọ̀rọ̀ ni. Ṣé dandan ni kéèyàn fi ọ̀rọ̀ lọ, because mo rántí bàtà kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ kiri. One of the things that Chef Mrs. said was ṣẹ́ni ní olùfisùn ṣó lólùbáwí. Yeah. You know, that has to be olùbáwí. That is somebody that can call you to order. You know, if you have someone that does not have anybody that can call you to order, it's a problem. If you think that you can do it all by yourself, fine, which is a very rare occasion. There are some times that you want somebody to talk to this person on your behalf. It could be anybody. Now, I love what Chef Mrs. said. She said, number one, sharing your gongbon. Ẹlòmíì ẹni tó lọ ń béèrè wisdom lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ tó ń fọ̀rọ̀ lọ ṣẹ́ni yẹn gan ṣó lọ́pọlọ ṣó ń gan gbọ́n tó lọ fẹjọ́ ọkọ ẹ̀ sùn. Does the person wish you well? You know, ṣẹ́ni yẹn gan òun dúró pé ìgbéyàwó yìí gan bí mi inú bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe jọ ń ṣe lọ fi giants ó ń pẹ́kẹ́ tó dàrú. Because that kind of person, you have to watch who you go to.
Right, ma'am.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Some people, only your family member, once you report your partner to that person, go fair in the first place, and you didn't know that. Your spouse fought for you. The family member you're going to report to might even be your enemy number one in that family. But I present areas. Woman, you know.
Yeah.
You see that person as a young boy,
yeah. Yeah. And also there are some friends that are eyeing your spouse that you have to be careful.
Exactly. The person you report to does not necessarily have to be family. Just like Chef Mrs.
Instagram, I can't see what I'm writing. Yeah. Yeah.
Reason because advice
even
to bad
yeah.
pastor, to your call, abi family no advice we know the correct advice. And from certain advices, because don't be too gullible. I want to recommend ìwọ tó bá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ máa ṣọ́ ẹ dáadáa máa fi CIA ṣọ́ ẹ kí ló gbà gangan nínú ilé. I want you to tell me when I'm wrong.
It's very complicated.
And I want you to tell me when I'm right. In this situation, you've done so well. I am so proud of you. But Shesuru, Okunworu, Kawaru. But come on, someone like me onigba. Advice not all advices should be taken on board.
Thank you so much.
And now back to what we were talking about. She Oma correct, will you stand by your spouse or will you chastise them? And it's about one kiniko to bag boy ba win and to bag to what she says the best of me okay me more. Iru any benye to ba she very, very costly mistake. Maduro ti pa ile ibayi. We pay. Shefe gbo kuku pa mi. You will stand by that person.
Because is it because you know that it's a sincere mistake?
It is because you know that it is a sincere mistake.
He would always listen, okay.
But to ba je eni to ma so fun e pe gba ti mo wa se nkan iwo gan o je nkan loju e. Se ni to ba ti lagi mo bayi ma se bi eni pe mo ti force mi ti jabo je sare lo wa. Mo ma rin síwájú ni.
Thank you.
Because anytime your bamba with a badge on sorrow, I still stand on that. And it's a badge on sorrow, you know, spouses don't necessarily have to accept all the time. But you know a little man.
God bless you. But once
spouse me only accept but the next action, the next line of action,
thank you so much, ma. That's true though. Sometimes, especially men, sometimes ego. They accept what you're saying, they will not admit and stuff, but you see it in their actions. You know, and there are people that will tell you, okay, but they're not going to do anything, they won't change. So it all depends. I know people that will never fight, somebody that will never fight, they will never argue, they will just say, okay, but they never listen. That's another type of people. But in all of this, you know, we need to understand that when we are correcting each other, it is for the betterment of both of us. When we are calling each other to order, it's for the betterment of both of us. Mama Banker said that, well, I would expect you ask a mature married person, not just anyone. Well, it's supposed to be someone who is mature and married. But these days,
Mama Banker, not all mature marriages are perfect too.
Yeah, sometimes.
Mommy and daddy your marriage is better than theirs.
Yeah. And also, we must always present a positive and constructive outlook. Well, I don't think anybody will start with the negative outlook. But once maybe if you have presented positive outlook, constructive outlook for so long, and the person doesn't seem to be listening, sometimes you only dust it off. But as long as people see this violence, and like somebody said, tell me about what do I do? Somebody said, look, start getting yourself ready for exit plan and stuff like that. It's not supposed to be like that, but if it's going to cost you much more, it's just going to affect your children. You need to figure it out. We want to look at the damages that blind support. I call it blind support. There are people that I know that will always go sing or talk. She said, if you're women, if I come in, hey. Let's look at the damages of blind support when you're supporting your spouse, because supporting your spouse blindly, yeah, it's just as good as supporting your children blindly. Gbogbo nǹkan tọ́mọ yín bá ṣe ó wà okay ni. Àwọn tí ò kí ń bọ́mọ wí, they are always the same people that tó ní bọ́kọ wí. Ẹjọ́ ẹ fi wálẹ̀. There's some family that you will see that there's something not right about them. Bàbá ò lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, àwọn ọmọ náà ò lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, ìyá náà ò lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Why? Because they see whatever they are doing as okay. They see it as right. Let's talk about the damages that stuff like this can cause. Maybe I should start an example. I know a family that when we were young, we cannot correct their children. You can't correct the man. The woman will say, the man will always say, everything went bad. The children they became so unruly. They themselves, they didn't enjoy themselves in the end. So these are the things I'm looking at now. Let's talk about damages that, in fact, Instagram, you do this one. I even changed my device today, but I still cannot hear what Instagram people are saying. I don't know what's going on. If you have an account on TikTok, Instagram, please join us. Now, let's look at the damages that blind support, supporting your spouse blindly, whether or not they are right, whether or not you're not correcting them. Or some people, they have corrected and decided to do what? Zip. I don't care. What are the damages that this can cause, please? If you're online and you want to say something, kindly unmute yourself.
The damage that will cause is the children will be the ones to suffer.
Thank you, ma.
Out of it, the children will be the ones to suffer. And our don't support our blindly, but it's not the killing was see.
Bóyá ti múlẹ̀. Wow.
So àwọn ọmọ ló máa ń suffer in that situation. Àwọn ọmọ ní life wọn máa ń rìn. Because àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ti wá sí. Àwọn ọmọ ní life wọn máa ń rìn. Because your mother Mama Jack if your children goes to work, they will correct you. You haven't done something right. So why would you choose one correction? Correction is not a bad thing. It's a blessing. You get to do it differently.
Thank you so much. It does definitely have a great effect on the children, and it also has effects on so many other things. I'm wondering if anybody wants to say this before I read what I have here, because I wrote some things down. Supporting each other blindly as couples. It affects the children definitely, in a very bad way. In fact, on top of my list here, I've written here the children. Yes, it does affect the children, because when you are supporting each other blindly, most likely you're going to be supporting your children blindly as well. Okay by you, correct. Then it does affect your reputation. I know a couple that wọ́n fi gbèsè ṣayọ̀. The wife will call you àti jọ sọ fúnra wọn o. They will say, má sọ fún wọn, má jẹ́ kó mọ̀ pé mi ti fẹ́ wá yáwó lọ́wọ́ ẹ o. The husband will also come. It got to a point when people see them coming, wọ́n ní kí ni wọ́n tún ti ń bọ̀, wọ́n tún báwo ló ṣe ń sọ ọ̀lẹ́ ń tẹ̀lé àfà. They go together, they go everywhere together. Whenever they go, they will just go and do something silly that everybody will be like, it was so bad that even this couple I'm talking about, when they come for an event, àwọn èèyàn máa ń ṣọ́ wọn ni, because wọ́n bá ń lọ, wọ́n máa páàkì oúnjẹ, tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ṣọ́ra gan, kúlà yín gan máa disappear. That kind of thing. When both of you are not correcting each other, you're just indulging each other. Now they're not young anymore, and it's beginning to affect them really bad. Also, if care is not taken, it could end up affecting their mental health. And their mental health, to me, in the sense that you always think that you are always right. You got okay, even the bank cool or the bank you just have this at the back of your mind that you are right. You know, and at the end of the day, it's going to lead that person into destruction. God forbid, God on Shanofuwa. You know, if your wrongdoing is constantly defended by your spouse, then you should be wary, you should be careful. Now, let's talk about the other side. Let's talk about the other side. When a spouse that you're always correcting now purposely starts targeting you, what they think they are correcting you for, they know that you have not done anything wrong, but just as a get back. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. When corrections to them feels like you're betraying them and they just want to give back. They just want to say, and then when you say something, they will say, she will not remember me sorrow. Yeah, gaslighting. They just gaslight you on purpose because they believe that, she will not correct me. She may not only correct one only, but they know fully well that what they are correcting you about, there was absolutely nothing wrong in what you have done or did or doing. They just want to use it as a get back, using it as a way to say, tí wọ́n bá ti gbọ́ tèmi, èmi náà ní gbọ́ ti tiẹ̀. Knowing fully well pé nǹkan tó ní kó gbọ́ yẹn is not that. I mean, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. How do you handle that? How do you handle people like that? How do you deal with, spouses that purposely just want to come back to you just because o correct mi lánàá, o correct mi jẹta, ṣèbó lèmi ò kí n gbọ́ràn, ìwọ náà kí n gbọ́ràn, but they know that what they are correcting you about is not right.
Stop this ring now. Ọmọ yìí má pa mí, ọmọ yìí má pa mí. Tó bá dé stage kan di ọmọ yìí má pa rẹ̀. You've been correcting your spouse and the person keeps gaslighting you at every slightest opportunity. Okay, you see you correct his spouse, you know you're correcting him for just cause. But because you've done that correction, who the hell are you? Any little thing, boya o wake up, boya o man complain, they one untidy kitchen. You won't jẹun tán, o wake up sílẹ̀. Ó ti fò débẹ̀. Tó bá yá wà níta ló ṣe, o dẹ̀ kí like ẹni tó máa ṣe irú nǹkan báyìí. It will get to a stage that you would no longer correct that person because you want to protect your mental health as well. Because gaslighting is a terrible thing. That spouse will keep making you feel miserable about yourself. Because any little time to correct you unnecessarily for what you didn't do, you will get upset with him or her and you get upset with yourself. Because so the best... you know from within. Torí nǹkan tí mo correct ọ̀gbẹ́ni àbárábìnrin ìlànà ló ṣe ó fẹ́ ṣe payback ni. You would have known that kind of person. You would protect your mental health. Má correct ẹ̀ mọ́. Tó bá fẹ́ rìn wọnú kó rìn wọnú. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ó gbé kọ́ọ̀pù síbì kan ni tó kì í like fi kọ́ọ̀pù yẹn lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́. Is either you take up all the responsibility pé kíní mo ti sọ fún arábìnrin kó má gbé síbẹ̀ all the time bó gbé síbẹ̀. Is either bó bá ṣe ń gbé síbẹ̀ má gbé kúrò kó gbójú ẹsẹ̀ gbẹ kan. So so yeah, thank you for that purpose. So basically what we are saying here ni pé ọkùnrin yìí àbóbìnrin yìí mo máa ń sọ fún nǹkan tó ṣe tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó ó wá máa ń mọ̀ takò mí nǹkan tí mo ṣe tẹ́pẹ́ kò tẹ̀sí nǹkan tó rọ̀ǹgì nínú ẹ̀ ẹlòmíràn ni look who is talking ṣe rí ìwọ náà ṣe bí nǹkan tí ìwọ náà ń sọ ń sìn ìwọ náà tún ti ń ṣe yẹn. That's actually not nice. If anybody is doing that, that is what people will call gaslighting or just purposely looking for somebody's fault, and that would not be nice. Like Christian said, I think you might as well just leave the person. Let just them avoid the person. It's your spouse, but just avoid that conversation. Avoid the quarrel. Yeah, because it's definitely going to affect your mental health. Now, let's talk about when correction feels like betrayal. When you correct the person and the person feels like, "Don't tackle me," then tackle me. I don't know how to cite the example. You see the spouse stop, because some of these things we're talking about, it's not just something that happened, it's not just about something that happened like domestic whatever. Some of them, that is going to cause trouble. Okay, look at some parents that will come out to, I know it's an extreme case, to let the public know what their spouse has been up with, maybe with their house help who is a minor, or with their own children who is a minor. I overheard someone saying during the case of Baba Jesha
The person said, tó bá jẹ́ òun ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí òun máa dákẹ́ pa ni, òun ò ní sọ síta. I was like, what did you just say? You mean you're going to keep quiet, knowing fully well that this person is molesting a minor? She said, yes, I'm not going to say anything. Tó bá jọ́kọ òun ni òun máa dákẹ́ pa ni. Ẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run bà mí. But in a situation like that, and the woman decide to talk, or the man decide to talk, because nowadays, I saw where a woman was actually, I don't want to use that word so that they don't cut off this my life. TikTok, that the woman did it to their own daughter, obìnrin, own, own tọwọ́ bọ ọmọ ẹ̀ obìnrin lára. So it's stuff like that. The man ended up coming out to shout, this is what my wife is doing with our daughter or with our son. And the man is looking at her saying, you're a betrayer. Oh, they betray me. So that's an extreme case. It could be something that is not as bad. Maybe you are olórí ibi iṣẹ́, ìyàwó ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé òun ẹ̀ ń bẹ́ sí owó. Ó dẹ̀ ń sọ fún ẹ pé kí ni tó ń ṣe máa cause wa ní wàhálà, kó má jẹ́ kó rún ẹ lọ sẹ́wọ̀n. Èmi máa pariwo ẹ síta tó bá sọ̀rọ̀. Máa pariwo síta tó bá stop o. How do you handle people that now see that as a betrayer? Pé ìwọ wọ́n ṣàtakò mi. When they do that, how do you this thing is really
stand on my stance. It's either you make your exit plan like Chef Mrs. Mommy said before you open up, because you want to expose this person, be ready. The world will come for that person and it will come for you. Your family, the person's family will come for you.
Yeah.
So before you do that, create your exit plan. No matter how long, thank God this part of the world that we are in.
But they can even here. No. Even here, man. You know that some person can be seen as an accomplice, or when you are trying to avoid the cause of justice or something like that. If you know and you don't talk, they
in this place you have to go and confide in confidence. Here you have to do it in confidence. And I can't stand it anymore. The record told me to death. Because you will be 31. So mama put me in the shake here. Go bye family and
Benny. So you can stand in confidence. That's an extreme case, no, but it's happening. Whether or not you want to believe it, it is happening that some spouses are doing some very unheard of stuff. It's either you just tell them, you know what, we can't be together. You have to let us just go our separate ways. If you're going to continue like this, you're not going to listen to me, because it's going to get me in trouble, and I don't even feel comfortable. I can't be quiet. Or you have to stand in confidence, like somebody has said. I don't know who might be watching tonight, or someone. A lot of people are in this trouble that their spouse is up to something that they are really worried about. Keeping something they're not supposed to keep, doing something they're not supposed to do, that could be a problem in face of the law and stuff like that. And then you have told them, you've warned them, you've corrected them, you called them to order, they're not listening. They said you have to stand in confidence, meaning you don't have to disclose that you are the one, but just have a way. And obviously, if you get to that point, you know that you're sleeping and waking up with a criminal. You need to find your exit, because it's just a matter of time before Kenyato share. Now, let's talk about creating a balance, like having a balance in all these things that we are talking about. Under normal circumstances, when your spouse is doing stuff that are still, that are just regular things, like they're doing stuff they're not supposed to do. Maybe they are careless, they talk too much, or they do stuff, or they when they go to events, they are careless, they just, or they are keeping friends they're not supposed to keep, or they say too much, they let out too much to their friends and stuff. These are just the normal, regular things that could cause disagreement between couples. You can tell them, you can keep telling them, you can tell them without necessarily making them feel bad, like Mama Banke had agreed. And if they are getting unnecessarily, I don't want to use the word violence, or they are getting unnecessarily aggressive because you're telling them and you have done everything, trust me, there will be one or two people out there that you trust, that they trust, that you can talk to. It's not always advisable to go just anybody, you know. It's not anybody that you can go to, but there's go sí bó ṣe lè burú títí títí kó má kó èèyàn kan mọ́yàn. There will be somebody somewhere that you can talk to that can calm them down. Tó bá wá jẹ́ pé alétílápá lẹ́ni yẹn tó jẹ́ pé tí wọ́n ló máa ń yé wọn, because there are some people like that, tí wọ́n ló máa ń yé wọn. If you like, talk from now till whatever, they're not going to listen. But it will be on record that you have said your bit. Ká lè wí nípa tèmi pé mo ṣe wọn tí mo lè ṣe. Because, where we come from as well, if you say, mo ti sọ kò gbọ́, and then suddenly ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn wá bọ́ síta wá di ṣàtàyàn, you will hear the family member say, ó dẹ̀ bó mọ́ra, ó dẹ̀ bó, ó bó pa ó sọ, obviously you have to speak it out. And when it comes to anything, like Mama Banke said, anything that leads to illegality is not to be defended, it's not to be covered. Yeah. Chef Mrs. said they know. They do know, yes. But obìnrin náà máa ní ó dẹ̀ bó pa, ó bó títí tó fi ṣe kíní kan. Ẹlòmíì gan, even some people, is about their health. You see a man doing some things that could be at the detriment of his health, or a woman doing something that could be at the detriment of her health. You're telling them, you're correcting them, down. When you want to develop one disease or something, wọ́n wá sọ pé nǹkan báyìí báyìí tó ń jẹ, àbí wà báyìí báyìí tó ń hù, àbí habit báyìí báyìí tó ní, òun ló fà á tó fi ṣẹlẹ̀. Àwọn ẹbí ẹ̀ máa sọ pé, ìwọ obìnrin yìí ó dẹ̀ dákẹ́, ó dẹ̀ bó pa, he did not let us know that he's doing all of this. So bóyá you know say, àmọ́ mi mo sọ tèmi tó, mo pariwo tó, òun ni kò gbọ́. They will not be looking at you like, irú ariwo wo ló pa tá àgbọ̀, stuff like that. Sometimes you have to speak and let them know that, look, even if the person is going to see you as, how dare you? Some people will be like, how dare you talking to my family about these things? You have to shout out, because so we have to know when to stop. And obviously, if it's something that is of a criminality or illegality, please, hey, like that woman that was saying it, that was beating her chest. You mean you see, an adult, because they are your spouse. Ma.
Just like what you said, they know. There's this wahala on social media recently in the UK. That a boy called his wife's family pé òun ṣe DNA o, ọmọ àlè ni ìyàwó òun gbé fóun. Ó pe màmá, ó pe bàbá, ó pe stepmother. Ẹni kí ni wọ́n sọ fún? Bàbá ẹ̀ ní kí l'agreement yìí.
Wow.
That was the first question the father said. Kill agreement. Agreement to be tibawo. What was stepmother, because so that mama you're close, mama me. Stepmother and him get back. See, the stepmother blocked this guy.
Wow.
But it's got British passport to phone.
Wow.
Yeah, what's the parents of a British born, 2.5.
Wow.
Or 2 affair put the boy see why Allah. The guy did everything and what was like, well, they go show mom and check him and see US. My darling sister, after claim child benefits, Tibo boy council or whatever, one will follow up my money airports. Be terrorists.
Wow.
Once of follow up, kill a mom from Emiconi Molomo, would I feel like Umabati, Lomofelos America to follow up money here, or chaff, or safun. What's this money called? To you keep up on your phone. In your tutorial for lock money no claim. So this guy now Kuku came out to the authority. They revoked the British passport. They cancelled their visa. And when they go to
that's good.
Yes, child support.
That's good.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's good.
But passport, everything come along. But you have to child support. Lori or Motsiko
say me. People are trying to. People get liver. Hey, God.
The guy had to send the DNA report to the Home Office. They cancelled their passports. The guy had visa. They cancelled the child's passport.
Yeah.
Now the family of the girl just want pay and can't want your joy.
So like you said, they knew. They knew what was going on. Somebody said born devil. Anyways, I need rumor. The person that is misbehaving knows that they are bad. The people that are around them, they know that they are bad. Now, let me quickly round off on this case of going to speak to someone. Please, 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 please. sometimes I think Bukidishos was one that said it earlier. Like, Nigba me, you will know that the person that you are reporting to is on your side from what they say. Yes, sometimes you will know. It will be obvious. Some people they'll just talk carelessly and be like, "Excuse me, I ain't coming back to talk to you about my spouse again because of the way you talked." You understand? But there are some people that sincerely you will not know, but they are killing you. They will empathize with you. They will act like they are your side. They will pretend like they are supporting you, but they're killing you behind. Those ones are the most dangerous ones. Some friends will even take the opportunity to penetrate into your spouse's whatever life. They will use that opportunity to slot themselves into your spouse's life. It happens both ways. It could be the men. There are men that are advising some women and they end up in bed. And there are women that are advising some men and they will end up in bed. You have to be very, very careful so you don't go from frying pan to fire. That we have to be, you have to strike a balance. You know, we all know that it's very important for us to protect our spouse's dignity. You know, we know that we have to protect our spouse's dignity. There are some corrections that will never ever go down well. For example, I am your wife or you're my husband and we're in public and I made a sincere and genuine mistake and you scream at me in public, you shut me down in public, you do this in public, that will never ever go down well with anybody. So that is the balance that we have to strike. There are times that you have to say, just like Mama Banke said, do it in a nice way and blah blah blah. Or you find yourself somewhere, they are saying that your spouse did something that you know that kò lè ever ṣe. Ó wá débẹ̀ ó ní kíni. Oh, tí ì mọ̀. Bí ti ń ṣe nù. Even kò wá jẹ́ bó ṣe ń ṣe nìyẹn. Ṣó yẹ kó máa takò ní public? So that one should never happen. I've seen that happen before where a spouse actually ó ń takò ìyàwó ẹ̀ báyìí ni pé kíni bó ṣe ń ṣe nìyẹn. Tí ì mọ̀. Ẹni tí ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. That's not good. That's not right at all. It doesn't matter what and then you not hide under the umbrella that ṣe bọ́ ní ká máa bá yín wí. A fẹ́ bá ewé sí ò jẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀. No, that's not báyọ̀ wí. That is in fact that's gaslighting, that's hatred, that is all sort of things. So we have to understand that. Also there are some situations that we have to maintain unity both of you while you are there. There are some circumstances that warrant that you both unite and talk together. Not every situation. In that kind of situations, when you get inside, you cannot say, wọ́n kàn ń wò ẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan ni wọ́n gbogbo ló ṣe mistake ṣe mọ̀ pé wọ́n ló jẹ̀bi. There are some situations like that, but not in every situation. So but the situation that were at the detriment of other people's health or especially when it involve a minor or it's something that you're not supposed to be defending. It's better for you to just keep mute than defending wrong. That's one thing that we need to bear in mind. Then um we also need to try and maintain unity as much as we can in a situation where unity can be maintained. Because in a situation unity can be maintained though, like we said, but in a situation where you can maintain unity, let them know. Àwọn ọkọ àti ìyàwó mi ṣe náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé wọ́n ti múlẹ̀ bí nǹkan tí chef Mrs. sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan nígbà kan ti múlẹ̀ nígbà pé ṣe wọ́n dídí jara àwọn ní gbẹ́rẹ́ báyìí pé ó yá mu tiẹ̀ kémi náà mu tiẹ̀. That's not what we're saying. You will end up in trouble. Yorùbá dẹ̀ pòwe kan àbí bíbélì tẹ̀ ló sọ àbí ká ló sọ wípé tí ọ̀rẹ́ méjì bá wọlé ní gbogbo ìgbà tó ń jáde tó jẹ́ pé ẹ̀rín náà ń jáde, they never disagree, they never talk true to each other, they never correct each other, they're gonna end up in trouble. Correcting your spouse does not mean that you hate them. You can correct them in love tó bá gbà bẹ́ẹ̀. But tó bá ti ń dé stage pé wá ń bí a máa gbọ́n mi sí omi tó mi ò bá tó ni mi ò ní gbàṣẹ́ máa gbọ́n mi sí ẹ lójú nítorí nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe yóò máa kó bá mi máa kó bá mi máa kó bá àwọn ọmọ mi ò ní gbà. Tó bá gbọ́ lẹ́rọ̀ fine, tó bá gbọ́ lẹ́rọ̀ máa pariwo lé lórí gbogbo ayé máa gbọ́ nǹkan tí màtẹ́jíjọ ṣe tí lè fi jóná. You can do it if that's going to work. You understand? And as we said, if there's a third party that you can talk to that you trust, that you know that they can speak to your spouse and not going to make matters worse, please do it. I hope that somehow we've been able to learn one thing or the other. I have learned a lot tonight. As I always say to us on this show, I've learned a lot, and I want to appreciate those people that had said one thing or the other. I'm just going to go straight to Abalakini Kinship because I want to make sure that I round up on or before 2 hours tonight. The first one that I have here is talking about. I heard this somewhere on um another talk show, and I didn't get to hear the full gist, but Oko Shemi back up with what a friend that was pregnant, some a wife was pregnant for 5 months, And then just when she hit 5 months, she realized that her friend was also pregnant for her husband, and the person was 3 months pregnant. Her closest friend. Tọ́jọ́ máa ń wọlé, tọ́jọ́ máa ń jáde, tọ́jọ́ máa ń jẹ, tọ́jọ́ máa ń mu. She even said that this friend would help her wash her, underwear even when she has. So in such situation, what would you want that kind of woman do? Ṣé òun ni kó fi ọkọ yẹn sílẹ̀ fún ẹni tí ó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ tó lóyún fọ́rẹ́ ẹ̀ ni? Àbí kó sọ fọ́rẹ́ ẹ̀ pé wá ń bí o, ó ṣe sàárà ni o. It's none of my business. So kò bá àwọn ẹ̀ kó lóyún fọ́kọ mi, that's your problem. MC Mon, I say at least I met something. Thank you. Welcome on board. I can't see what my Instagrammers are saying. So what would you have that person do? What would you advise that person should do? A friend that discovered that a wife that discovered that her friend was 3 months pregnant for her husband while she's 5 months pregnant for the same husband. Close friend, ọ̀rẹ́ wọléwọ̀de, ọ̀rẹ́ tọ́jọ́ ń jẹ tọ́jọ́ mu.
Let's try to ìgbéyàwó. Ma, when it comes to that one. If the man had impregnated an outsider, and he had better for life, and King said, don't say anything. It depends on the man as well. Show love me nule. She could say, "Oh, you ain't go by mistake." Because sometimes they try to man while I'm your party. I will go. It I won't call me. Every couple me and my okay. How will she toast your by? You will definitely know that the marriage. So I can come.
Is always on point.
Oh, you day. Okay, but I must be more comfortable. Meji. Mo fẹ́ for you yele. To buy jarata. Right. You rock me better to buy it around. Good riddance to bad nonsense.
But sorry, ma, can I cut you short? Ma? So what is causing the hatred? Are you sure it's not the same friend? What if you find out
cause hatred in marriages? Yes. It could be family. Àwọn ẹbí kan wà tó jẹ́ pé ọkọ àti ìyàwó yìí wọ́n ní tendency àti love ara wọn. But ẹgbẹ́jọ́ lọ bẹ́bí, ẹgbẹ́jọ́ lọ. Àwọn especially àwọn family tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti lọ fẹ́ first born. It could be ìyàwó gan ló gbé gbogbo bùkátà tí ò tẹ́ ọkọ lọ́rùn. Jẹ́ pé the reason the times that the ìyàwó is supposed to support our ọkọ nínú ilé.
Okay, ma, chef Mrs. Yes, ma. After this, yes. After go on, ma. Go on, speculations.
So ẹbí mi ọkọ yẹn máa fà sẹ́yìn díẹ̀ pé gbogbo bùkátà ti wà lórí mi. Ó yẹ kí èmi àti ẹ jíjọ fẹ́ wọ́wọ́wọ́. And likewise àwa obìnrin náà, let me speak from a woman's point of view. Ó ti lọ fẹ́ one first born àbí kó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ last born kó lọ gbé bùkátà ẹbí ẹ̀ sórí. Tó dẹ̀ ń wọ̀n ẹ̀ bọ́ ẹrù àwọn ọmọ tiẹ̀ ó sọ sí mi léjìká. My shoulders are aching, my neck ọrùn wọ̀ mí. But you're not facing your problem. Irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, ó máa ń jẹ́ kí ọkọ àti ìyàwó distance ara wọn.
Okay, so now the man now decided to go and impregnate the friend out of hatred.
She's the best friend, yeah. No, Sherry, anything could cause hatred. Kati, ma wa reason for hatred. Ọkọ àti ìyàwó mi wọ́n ti sílẹ̀, ma ní promise you mi tó kọjá pé ìyàwó yẹn gan wò pé if I have my way, it's not that easy to quit marriage like that. So she has that to check out. Even if it's not so interesting. Àwa obìnrin ṣì máa ń rí mọ́. Ọkùnrin mi gan wò pé mi ò fẹ́ kí ọkùnrin ọlọ́kùnrin tọ́ ọmọ mi. I can still cope with this woman. Wá ṣàjọ wà ń bẹ̀. But nature will call for itself. One way or the other, wọ́n súnmọ́ ṣàjà ń palùra wọn ìkan nù wọ́n ṣàṣẹ oyún dé. Yes. Situation like that. Tó bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn lóyún ṣe dé ni. Kọ́kùnrin yẹn ṣàmà kó ṣì lọ.
Ẹ kó ṣì lọ.
Tó já wípé wọ́n wà they are good like that. Wọ́n kọ́kọ́ ya ọmọ àlè. Jẹ́ pé third leg ẹ̀ ò lè jókòó sínú ibi tí wọ́n fi sí. Tó bá fúnyàn lóyún níta, máa ṣe ṣége mẹ́tàdínláàdọ́ta fún ẹ. But I will not leave my house for that woman. But tó bá jẹ́ best friend mi ni. Ìjọ tí mo mọ̀ ní marriage end. And I'm not even, ọkọ mi ń gbọ́ mi sọ fún pé kó ti torí ẹ̀ lọ fẹ́ ẹlòmíì níta kó lọ fún lóyún o. Because mi nígbà tó bá ń sùn kó la ojú ẹ̀gbẹ́ kan. Freedom ni continue daddy.
Tó bá ń gbọ́ ẹ máa dánwò.
Why would my already even talk to my husband in the first place? Let alone bẹ́ẹ̀ dọ́ra
You will leave them.
I will leave them. The same thing.
But in this case now, the girl, that's what the girl wanted in the first place. And your you can both have each other. Okay, let me hear from Chef Mrs. then.
I do not care whatsoever they.
All right.
What drama were just fine.
All drama were just fine.
Just like Chef Mrs. would always say. If you have in any marriage, in any relationship, even in your family, always have your backup plan, your exit plan. In case of maltreat your
oh God.
Tó bá wà solid enough tí ò ní padà lọ sínú ẹbí jẹ́ ká gbàdúrà káwọn ọmọ wa ṣe lóríire ká jẹ́ olú ọmọ.
Àmín.
If you are olú ọmọ in that family, kò sí gbogbo rubbish tí ẹbí lè ṣe fún ẹ. Tó bá bínú lọ wọ́n máa pe gbogbo ará àdúgbò gbogbo ìjọ gbogbo mọ́ṣáláṣí kan wá bẹ̀. Ọmọ tí ò bá jẹ́ olóríire ọmọ ló máa pé kó káwọ́ sílẹ̀ o. So tóbìnrin bá lè fọwọ́ sọ̀yà pé tí máa fi máa yẹn lẹ̀ kò sẹ́ni tó lè fẹ́. Ẹ gbà pé ó dára ẹ̀ lójú ni. Because number one.
But èèyàn kan ti lóyún fún wọ́n máa wà pẹ̀lú ra wọn. Okay. Bukilicious, hold on ma. Ẹ jẹ́ ká tún gbọ́ díẹ̀ látọ̀dọ̀ Chef Mrs. Please don't go. Yes ma.
Because my own is more of a lot of people are here listening. And because we send to the conversation. For all of this conversation will only happen. Only wàhálà ní ayé yìí.
Aláǹgbá ò lè wọ ọbẹ̀ o. Mo ní aláǹgbá ò lè wọ ọbẹ̀.
People in the people that are closer to you, that knows you less human. They are the people that will hurt you the most. And the reason why they will hurt you is if it's your friend. Tó bá bá kọjá, wàá máa rojọ́, lórí burú ẹ̀rí gẹ́gẹ́ rí ẹ̀. Nǹkan tó bá sọ fún, tó bá jẹ́ ẹni tó ń jẹ́ lọ́sẹ̀ tó fẹ́ fẹ́.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Àgbẹ̀tẹ̀ nígbà lọ́kọ́ lé ló ṣe gbọ́ pé mo ti ní èèyàn tó ní ọkọ nílé tó dẹ̀ gba ọkọ rẹ̀ títí ẹ̀. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní bábílì ẹ̀ bá àtà.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
So ẹ̀rọ gbà gàmbá sọ́kìnì kan bí o mọ̀ bí a tó bá máa wájú ọ̀rùn wọn máa lọ jẹ́rìí àbí wọ́n á lọ sí ẹ̀rì o. Wọ́n nílé ayé ìjọba tó wọ̀ dárí tó wẹ̀.
Hey, it is well.
So everybody needs to be careful what you say. Most of them, we talk about coming down almost 5,000. It's giving me 2,000 every month, and they're also waste here. And it also give me 2,000 every month.
Wow.
I'm not jealous of you, but if it's somebody that's jealous of you, like don't want you that to complain. Give me the wrong way. Oh, my parents are putting you, but my
Oh, yeah, me.
We can't change who they are. But you can change how you react.
So in this case, ma, should the wife leave the friend to continue with the husband, or I mean, because already who are 5 months pregnant, what that's already who are 3 months pregnant fún ọkọ ẹ̀. Already don't worry what they.
Anything they ban so, I always put myself in that position to be able to give my opinion.
Yes.
I'm putting myself in that situation. If my husband comes, share the value, well, actually share the you share you. Like you've done yourself. We can have conversation. In the conversation, we're in love with you, we're in lost. We don't tell you no. Whether you want to accept him back or you want to leave him, you need to know how they get there. And you need to know how you as a person is feeling. Because at the end of the day, it's not trusted.
Yeah, the trust has been broken. Yeah.
That's anything. So because you are trusted, you're not worthy to be in my space. You're not worthy to be your children's father. You know, there's a lot of conversation. You're not worthy. You're not worthy. So
you one will let go, because I believe that somehow this thing is a little bit, because when I heard that I'm like, Jesus, very messy. It's happening a lot. Once they've
done it once.
One mama ṣe kí ẹ máa lọ ní tí ẹ gbọ́ bá lówó lọ kọ́ pé òun fẹ́ dúró.
Especially tó bá ní pé ọkọ mi ní òtún mọ lọ́hùn. Then màá question ló mọ lọ́hùn tó wọ̀.
Ó ga o. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
So there's a lot to it.
Lord have mercy.
Earlier that for him to say sorry, and it's not a sorry because maybe he's in love with that person. If he's in love, it's fine, you can go.
So you in love with my friend? What happened to me? Hey, Jesus.
No, you go with my friend. I have my hand on my leg.
Wow. This is because personally I was looking at the situation. Ó ṣe kí ni mà? Ọkọ yẹn ṣe kí ni mà? Hello ma. Wow.
On the psychosis.
Wow.
So and he wasn't been able to stay. So in the situation.
Wow.
Ben. Or even better than any so bokwe. Because I thought bokwe they're living fine. And the top is life they will do that not.
Ha, Jesus.
So the problem you accept what you want to accept and
hey,
you quickly move on.
Hey.
You accept, you cry.
Àwọn èèyàn láyà o. Àwọn èèyàn láyà.
And they calculate the amount of them might lose
Ben.
Then you can actually calculate
just let go. You
understand?
Thank you so much, ma. Benny.
But anytime I think about opening last what is the meaning of this? How does it translate? How are we going to move forward? What does moving forward look like?
Yeah. Trust, the trust is actually one of the major things here, because how can you now be sleeping, sharing the same bed with somebody that you cannot close your two eyes? Even your bed, mama show you, hey, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. Oh, God. Call on Shanu, wow. And it goes both ways. It goes both ways as well. It could happen. It could happen with women also do. In fact, the one I'm going to say next, which I'm probably going to just say now. In Continuum Professor next year, this particular one, the wife passed away. Somehow, I don't know what happened. They got to do the DNA of the 4 children that the woman that passed away. Or they did the DNA for our mom mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin. Kò sí kankan nínú àwọn ọmọ mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin yẹn tó jẹ́ ti máa yẹn. After they did DNA, this woman already passed away. So the question now is, what will have this man do? And the thing is, they don't even know who the father is. The woman never said who the father was before she passed away.
Because àwọn ọmọ yẹn ò mọ ẹlòmíì àfi kó tó bá jẹ́ wípé ìyá wọn ti lọ fi wọ́n mọ bàbá tó bí oníkálukú fún.
Wọ́n ọmọ náà kò mọ wọ́n ọmọ bàbá àwọn ọmọ yẹn.
Tó mọ̀ ní bàbá
wọ́n ọmọ.
Tí ẹ bá ṣẹlẹ̀ yẹn obìnrin yẹn á ti jẹ́ kẹ́ni tó ní ọmọ kó mọ̀ kó lọ́mọ.
But I mean, the person is not in the picture. Wọ́n lè jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, but.
Ọmọ lẹ́yìn àkọ́tọ́ ṣaláìsí ní sẹ́ẹ̀dì náà tó bí ọmọ sílẹ̀. Ẹ̀kọ́ obìnrin burú o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Burú jọ ọkùnrin lọ. Tọkùnrin sì fẹ́ gbà. Tọ́kùnrin bá ṣe tí wọ́n wà láàrin. Ọkùnrin yẹn ò lose because aláwọ̀ ọmọ táwa náà adult lè wá. Nígbà báwo ni wọ́n padà wá? O lè lọ kí ìyẹ́ ẹ̀ choice ẹni bí ọ̀fẹ́ jára lé bí àkófẹ́ jára lọ. Let them know what it is and let them know you're here for them as a man. If they want to be here, fine. Tí ọba fẹ́ wà bí fine.
As far as the story that I heard, the kids don't know any other father. They only know this man, and kò sí ọkùnrin mi in the picture. Show you kò sọkùnrin mi in the picture. Only this man. But the problem now is, I am saying, should this man continue to raise these children, 4 of them? Because Yorùbá kọ̀wé pé kinní kan tíntín lórí ilé tí àwo gbẹ̀gìrì ní pé tójú bá kúrò ńbẹ̀ ṣọ́kàn máa kúrò ńbẹ̀ ni. Are you sure that the moment that man got to know wípé àwọn mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin tẹ́ni yìí bí fóun wọn ṣe tòun ó dẹ̀ ti kú kò ṣeé bá jà?
Excuse me.
Báwo ló fẹ́ ṣe?
Because àwọn ọmọ yẹn ọmọ according to this story, right? Máa yẹn ló lọmọ sẹ́. Because tó bá sọ fún wọn tẹ́lẹ̀ tó bá bá wọn wí dáàdì bá wa wí ni. But táwọn ọmọ yẹn bá ti mọ̀ ọmọ á ṣe bí ọmọ tí ọmọ bá misbehave even ọmọ ṣì ni ọmọ kó jẹ́ 40 years old fún bàbá ẹ̀ tó bá misbehave tí bàbá ẹ̀ bá tó bá sọ̀rọ̀ burúkú gbà lórí. Àìmọye ìgbà tí dáàdì ti wá yìí pé ọmọ àlè játijàti. Does that mean we are ọmọ àlè? No.
Yes, àwọn bàbá yẹn máa ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn bàbá yẹn máa ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn náà bíyàn wọ́n dẹ̀ máa pèèyàn lọ́mọ àlè játijàti. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ṣé o understand?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Àwọn ọmọ yẹn wọ́n máa sọ́bà.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ọ̀gá o, wọ́n tẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gang up against that man.
That man.
How dare you? But tí wọn bá mọ̀ pé òun tó bá pè wọ́n ní ọmọ àlè kò ní ní mínítì wọn ní rédí tó mọ̀. Then tó bá sọ fún wọn in my own opinion báwo lọ́jọ́ alẹ́ ẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ rí ọmọ wọn ló fẹ́ sin òun gan-an.
Wọ́n tiẹ̀ ti dàgbà
àwọn ọmọ yẹn á fọ́n dàgbé.
Hey, it is well. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Bookilicious. Thank you, Chef Mrs. Mom. Thank you, Mama Banke. Thank you, Waliko. Thank you, everybody. Yes, ma. Go on, ma. Bookilicious, I can hear you. What happened? Yeah.
So if that man does not allow the children to know, tó bá já ọmọ yẹn wọ́n pa DNA yẹn ni o, kóun náà yà gbé àṣírí yẹn kó lọ báyàwó ẹ̀ lọ́rùn kọjọ máa lọ ru ẹjọ́ yẹn. So that àwọn ọmọ yẹn á tọ́jú ẹ̀ dáadáa bíi bàbá lọ́jọ́ alẹ́. Because ṣe rí àwọn net òun nínú abiyamọ. Èyí tàbí gan tí ò ṣọmọ àlè oríṣiríṣi ìwà ló wà
lọ́wọ́ wọn.
Láti lọ àwọn ìtẹ̀wájẹ́ kọ́ mọ̀ pé wá ń bí èmi kọ́ ni mo bí. Ó lè jẹ́ bàbá tó burú mọ́ wọn láti kékeré á máa wò pé no wonder wọn ní mọ̀ pé bàbá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọn after tí ìyá kú ni. No wonder he didn't like us. No wonder tí mo béèrè nǹkan báyìí lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ nígbà báyìí tí ò fún mi. Bàbá yẹn ló máa suffer pẹ̀lú gbogbo hard labour
tó ti ṣe lórí àwọn ọmọ
yẹn láti kékeré.
Ẹ ṣeun. I did not even think about it this way. I didn't think about it this way because when I heard that story, I was like, if I was in this man's shoes, what would I do? I'm just gonna. But now that you talk about it and you analyze it, that's why it's always good to learn. I think the man should just hold on to it. And I've seen a similar case sometimes. Jerry Springer show or whatever, all those shows that they used to do, that they used to come on the live show to come and do DNA. It was a Black American couple, and those kids were already grown up. They're all grown up. One shaking, sorry, according to DNA, you are not the father. You are not the father. You are not the father. The man was like, except the kids say they don't want to be my child, I believe that they are my children. Also, but they were all grown up, like adults. They said it on the live show. They said, this is our dad. This is the person we've always known. We don't even care. We don't want to know who the other person is. The person has never been part of our life. This is our father, and this is who we're going to stick to. And that was what they did. Now, people, please, we can do better. What's going on? All these infidelities, all this. In fact, it has gone so bad that people don't even talk about it as if it's a big deal anymore. And if you talk about it, they're going to come for you. They will attack you. Yeah, morals have gone down the drain. They will come for you. They will attack you. If you say it anyhow, you'll see girls coming out boldly to say, well, àwọn nǹkan tó máa ń tini lójú láyé ìgbà kan tí Yorùbá máa sọ pé ó tini lójú jolè lọ láyé ìsìn àwọn èèyàn fi ń ṣayọ̀ ni, and if you correct them, they're going to come for you. They're going to say pẹ̀lẹ́ o assistant Jesus, pẹ̀lẹ́ o mommy. We've seen a lot of situations where friends are hijacking their friends' husbands, men hijacking their friends' wives and stuff, sleeping with them, all those things. It's terrible. Lóòótọ́ a mọ̀ pé ó ti wà látètè kọ́ṣe but ó ti wá gbẹlẹ́yà ń sìn because tí kò bá sí látètè kọ́ṣe ni àwọn bàbá wa náà ni máa fi kọrin. I think it was Ebenezer Obey ti sọ pé ohun tí ó dá ó dá má gba ìyàwó ọ̀rẹ́ ojú ló ń dá tì ní má gbọ́kọ lọ́wọ́ ọ̀rẹ́. So for them to have sang this song back in the days, it has always been happening, but nísìnyí ó ti wá gbẹlẹ́yà. It's really sad. I felt bad for the man. In fact, man yẹn ṣe ló mú kòbókò ṣe ló mú ẹgbà tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ ná ibi tó ń sin woman yẹn sí. People had to be holding her back, holding him back. Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan? Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Kí là ń wá káàkiri? Ẹ má yẹ ká bayé jẹ́. Where we come from, gbogbo nǹkan báyìí kò ń ṣe nǹkan tó bójú mu. And I just hope that somebody somewhere will be able to. We've seen where people would. I saw one also online recently. The guy went to drink sniper, whatever they call it. Tó ṣe gbọ́ pé àwọn ọmọ méjèèjì tí ìyàwó òun bí fún òun, ìyàwó yẹn ò tiẹ̀ kú, ó kàn lọ mú, ó kàn lọ gbógun jẹ ni. Some people cannot take it. The trauma, yes, like you said, trauma. Some people cannot take it. Some people don't have the strength or the mental capacity to take it. Some people will go nuts. Some people will just die. Some people will just, the shock, they will never come out of it. And the fact that people do it and they just feel like, kini big deal, moshe no here. It's really sad. It's not us. That's not who we are. Where we come from, morality is one of the things that we cherish as a people, as a nation. And I hope that people will be able to change and get better. I want to say a big thank you, so much thank you to everybody for another beautiful episode of ETO IGBEYAWO. As we said on this show, we are here every Tuesday by the grace of God. Today is episode 4 of season 29. Very soon we're gonna hit 300 episodes of this particular show that we've been doing. We may not have the crowd that we want, but at least we are grateful that people that want to come are coming. I really want to appreciate everybody that came tonight, both on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. Thank you so much. I celebrate you and I thank you for taking time out to be part of this conversation. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe máa ń sọ fún wa lọ́sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ wípé ó máa ń wù ní ká jẹran pẹ́ lẹ́nu. It is your esophagus ó fáná fún. Ó fáná fún ni kò kí ń gbà fún wa. Tó bẹ́ẹ̀ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, àní jù báyìí lọ lórí ètò lẹ́nu ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa. Ó tún dọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Àmọ́ mò ń gbàdúrà fún wa wípé èmi Olúwabùnmi aya Òṣìbẹ̀rù lílọ ni mo tún ti ń lọ yìí. Ogun ó lọ kò dé kò ní bá mi. Ó dé kò bá wọn kò ní jẹ́ titi. Mo ń gbà ní àdúrà wípé ayọ̀, ìdùnnú, àlàáfíà, ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ tí mo fẹ́ fi yín sílẹ̀ ní òun náà ni màá tún padà wá bá yín lọ́jọ́ mẹ́jọ lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Wọ́n fàsìkò sọ fún gbogbo wa wípé láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé o. Mo ní láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé o. Ẹ̀yin ò ní forí gún, èmi ò ní fẹsẹ̀ kọ. Mọ́tò yòówù ká lè wọ̀ kò ní forí sọ̀gì o. Láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé. Láyọ̀ la ó máa pàdé o. Thank you, Tèmítọ́pẹ́.
Traditional wedding. Gbogbo lólùfẹ́ rẹ̀ ń retí rẹ̀ yìí. Let's talk traditional wedding. Ẹ̀bùn lóríṣiríṣi mẹ́nìkì ṣèwé. Let's talk traditional wedding. Kí lorúkọ ètò náà? Let's talk traditional wedding. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n. Let's talk traditional wedding. Jẹ́ kí gbọ́. Ètò Let's Talk traditional wedding ló lọ lọ́wọ́. Kí lorúkọ ètò náà? Let's Talk traditional wedding. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó kọ́ni lọ́gbọ́n. Let's Talk traditional wedding. Every Tuesday on Instagram. Every Tuesday on Facebook. 6 p.m. UK time. Every Tuesday on Facebook. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó fún ni lóye. Let's Talk traditional wedding. Ètò ìgbéyàwó tó fún ni lóye. Let's Talk
traditional wedding. Thank you so much, everybody. See you next week by the grace of God. God bless you. Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, that's enough of our